Italian liners are often overshadowed by the British, French and German rivals, but after World War II, a conflict-weary Italy was determined to return to the world stage. Most of its merchant fleet had been destroyed, yet in 1953, Italy launched a ship that was pure style and elegance, Andrea Doria. She wasn't the biggest liner, but she was the most fashionable. The finest Italian artists and designers created interiors that screamed 1950s chic, lavish, bold and radical for the time. Where older refurbished liners looked dated, Andrea Doria felt modern and glamorous, albeit a little garish by today's tastes. But her fame was short-lived. Just 3 years later, on the 25th of July 1956, while bound for New York, Andrea Doria collided with a smaller Swedish liner, Stockholm, in heavy fog. The crash tore open the side of the Andrea Doria and the ship quickly listed so badly that half her lifeboats couldn't be launched. 46 people died aboard Andrea Doria and several more on the Stockholm. Radar was common by the 1950s, yet both shipping companies blamed each other for the navigational errors. What is fascinating is how this disaster unfolded live on TV and radio. It was a first for such a big disaster at sea. The great French liner Ile-de-France rushed to assist, and for 11 hours the world listened as radio and newsreels carried updates before Andrea Doria capsized and slipped beneath the Atlantic. She took with her millions of dollars worth of art, murals and statues, the luxury cars of the wealthy passengers and probably a lot of glass ashtrays. What's interesting about this story is that we have some very interesting crossover with other ships in our series. There's an eerie Hollywood twist too. A few years later, the film The Last Voyage used the real Ile-de-France, the very ship that had saved Andrea Doria's passengers, as a floating movie set. This disaster film borrowed heavily from the real calamity, with a storyline about passengers trapped in mangled cabins, but unlike the movie's neat, sugar-coated happy ending, one woman never made it out alive from the twisted steel trapped in her cabin. But this story isn't just about material loss or cinematic retelling, it's about people, and among the passengers was the DeSandro family emigrating to America. Survivors of the family shared with us their memories and photographs, and their heartbreak at losing 3-year-old Norma DeSandro in the tragedy. There is also a strange irony. The ship that struck Andrea Doria, the Stockholm, didn't fade into history. Instead, she became one of the longest serving passenger ships ever. She was rebuilt, reconfigured, renamed, and sailed for over 7 decades before finally being scrapped in 2025. As for the Andrea Doria, she still lies on her side in 240 feet of cold Atlantic water. The wreck is infamous, so dangerous that over a dozen divers have lost their lives trying to explore her. The Andrea Doria remains more than just a shipwreck. She is a symbol of post-war ambition, a cautionary tale of overconfidence at sea, and a human tragedy still echoes today.